Let me just pin myself. Can you guys see me on the full screen now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Anne, for that kind introduction. I really do appreciate it. I'd like to just express my gratitude and thanks to Anne, to Karen, and the Yucca Valley Center for Spiritual Living for actually having me here today to share my story with you. And to all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. To all the dads that are playing the mom role as well, happy Mother's Day to you as well. You're doing a brilliant job. So thank you for that. At this point, I'd like to just start off with a 2-minute video. So I'm just going to share my screen and get this up. And I think maybe just with a thumbs up, Karen, I think you're closest to the camera. Tell me if you can hear the sound, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
I want to say so thankful and grateful to all of you.
Yes, we do. I think.
Yeah.
How does he see me?
But we can't hear you.
Saying, you know, when you
Oh, we can't hear the video.
Can you not hear the video?
No.
It's very low.
Okay.
But we hear you really good.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a setting change
thank you for
quickly.
your life.
Can you hear it now?
The better watch, there's so many prayers happening throughout the world.
Little better, right?
It's better, but still a little low.
Yeah.
Awesome songs. Terrible.
It is a very, very low video because it was recorded when I was really battling to breathe. So if you can maybe turn the volume up on your computer there or on the mic system, maybe that might help a little.
It's way up already.
Way up.
This one. Way up. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's try it and see what you guys can hear, right?
The songs, terrible verses. I accept all. I listen to it all because when I'm here, I only see one God, and I see all these soldiers around me, and those soldiers are all the gods that we pray for in our spiritual ways. So it's very difficult.
No, Nolan? Nolan, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Nolan, can you just tell us what it's about? That would be better.
That would be better.
Sure. I think so as well. So my apologies. Let me just change.
All right.
Okay. Can you hear me now clear?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
So my apologies. So that video was taken in the intensive care last January. So I was admitted to hospital with COVID pneumonia. And what I'm actually saying in the video is basically, this was on day 6 of my journey in the hospital, in the intensive care unit. And I'm saying, I'm passing on my message of love to people throughout the world. And I'm saying, no matter what I'm going through here at the moment, where I am battling to breathe, I still would like to encourage and inspire as many people out there as possible to take care of yourselves. I also mentioned that every day of my journey, I am receiving all different religious posts and videos, etc., like from Christians, from Muslims, from Hindus, Jewish, whoever. And what I'm expressing in the video is I've been taking the time to listen to every single one of those verses and those videos. The reason being is because I believe, and like we all do, there's one God, and we just have different ways of believing in, you know, our various religious sects. So I'm also expressing my gratitude every day, why I'm so grateful that I have care. I see the nurses and the doctors as earth angels, basically, because I will talk a little bit later about what I've actually gone through there. But the video is all about me unable to breathe, but still taking the time to inspire the world. Now, this specific video was done after I almost gave up on my life, and I decided to record it. I've recorded the video. It's a 2-minute 50-second video, but I had to do it in 4 different stages because every time I tried to get a word out, I was battling to breathe. I couldn't get the word out. And towards the end of the video, I say to everyone, no matter who you are, where you come from, I love all of you. And I'd like you to know that you need to take care of your health. COVID has been around and it's caused so much of destruction. But the point of the video, so that was the message in the video, and I will share it with Anne on a clip, a YouTube clip, and she can share it with all of you guys as well, right? So when you look at that video and you look at me battling to breathe, How many of us are suffocating like this in silence? And I'm not saying suffocating because of having COVID. What about all the toxicity around us? We go through toxic relationships, toxic environments, but we stay in those environments and we suffocate ourselves. And when we do suffocate ourselves, what it actually does to us internally, it affects our inner world, and we go into depression. And when we start going into depression, etc., we start getting sicknesses. And as we get these sicknesses, which, by the way, is caused by ourselves, right? Because we're allowing this into our inner world, we're allowing this into our boundary. So by playing the self-pity or victim mindset, which I did on day 6 of my journey, I was not doing myself a favor. So I immediately needed to snap out of that mindset and realize my purpose in this world is bigger than me just going through what I'm experiencing in the hospital. So I spent 13 days in the intensive care unit. I got taken in with 58% oxygen levels. This is me just under a year and a half later. I've done a lot of self-healing to get to this point. That person who you see in the hospital, maybe he looks a bit healthy, but when I came out, I had lost about 10 kgs. My body was like skin on bone, because with this COVID, I felt like something eat through my body. And I'll explain to you what I did there. So I just want to go back to how this all started. So I was out for a jog with my wife, and for some reason, I could taste like chemicals on my lip. Now, because I live very close to the international airport, I had thought that when the planes land, they tend to dump the fuel. So I thought this was still hovering in the air, and it had fallen on my lips, and I tasted it. So I thought nothing about it until 8 days later, when my family found me outside, like kind of crouched like this and not being able to do anything. Immediately, they rushed me to the hospital. And when they got me into casualty, they did my oxygen levels and they said it's 58%. The doctor looked at me, he looked at my family, and he kind of shook his head. Shook his head in the sense that it's going to be very hard for this guy to make it. It's going to be very hard for this guy to come out from the condition that he came out with. So I saw the tears run down my family's face, and I made a decision. And this is quite important. We all get the choice to make the decision. So I made the decision at that point, and I said, I'm going to fight this, and I'm going to walk out from this hospital. So when I did that, I programmed already into my subconscious mind, and I put it out to the universe that I'm going to come out of this and I'm going to recover from this totally. So in ICU, I went through so much of trauma. There were people dying on a daily basis. My bed was very close to the door. And when families came through that door and they changed into their COVID gear, they were only coming for one reason: to say goodbye to their family members, because the doctors had known that this person is going to pass on. So they welcomed them in to say their last goodbyes. Apart from that, I saw a lot of operations happen while I was there. I was actually hearing the sounds at night when I'm trying to get some sleep. I'm hearing the operations in progress, the drilling, and some operations where they were actually drilling through the person's neck area to get a plug, a cord, a pipe in so the person can breathe better. There was some chat about putting me onto the ventilator. I'm so grateful that my sister worked at the hospital, and she said to the doctor, this guy has got a strong mentality, he's got a strong mindset. Don't ever think of putting him onto the ventilator. And I don't have anything against the ventilator. My only problem is when you're on the ventilator, you're not in your normal sense, meaning the hospital gives you a lot of medication. And if you're not in the right state of mind, how are you going to fight for your life? How are you going to come out from this? It makes your battle a bit more harder. Apart from that, there was a doctor that was opposite me. And this doctor, he was on the ventilator, but what he was doing was he was pulling out all these cords. He was falling on the floor, like kind of hallucinating. And he's actually calling out to the nurses and he's saying, please let me die. Please let me die. He was begging to die. Now, if you think about this for a second, a doctor, we look up to somebody who is there to save our lives, but here's a doctor crying out to die. So anyway, the night passed, and the next morning when I had woken up, I saw his bed was empty. So I called the nurse over and I said, where is the doctor? And she says, I'm sorry, but he passed on. And I broke down. It really affected me in a big way. I got in touch with my family via video conference, and I said to them, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. I still get goosebumps just trying to relate the story to you. But when I told him I can't do this anymore, my daughter had taken a photo of a gold card that I carry with me every day. And she sent it to me. And her message to me was, don't forget what the purpose is. Immediately, I had to come out from this victim mindset, this feel sorry for myself mindset, and decide that I need to carry on with my fight. I made the decision to fight. So why am I giving up so easily now? So the point is, the trauma that you experience while you're in the intensive care unit is really hard for a person to recover. So if you've lost loved ones through COVID, who's been in ICU, please try and understand the pain that they go through. It's not an easy journey for them at all. So you got to understand what they've gone through and how they eventually lost their lives. I lost my independence. For 4 days, I could not brush my teeth. I could not bathe myself. I could not go to the toilet. The nurses, like I said, the earth angels, were actually giving me a bathe, helping me to brush my teeth. I hadn't eaten for 4 days. It was such a strong battle. I am a guy who is very energetic. I exercise a lot. I've climbed mountains, etc. But I could barely take 10 steps while I was in the intensive care unit. I had found on day 1 that I lied straight on the bed because I couldn't do anything. On my day 2, the physio came and she was doing some tapping on my back to clear my lungs. And I asked her, what can I do to help myself out of the situation? She says, sit up in a chair, because when you sit upright, you allow yourself to breathe better. So I said, okay. I called the nurse and I asked the nurse, can I sleep in this position, upright position? And she says, it's up to you. So I did that for 12 days. For 12 days, I sat up in this chair and I allowed myself to breathe better. So if you go back to the video, the one fundamental thing I mentioned in there is giving up is not an option. And it never was an option for me. Prayer, I was reciting different prayers. I was praying I would say like 10, 20 times a day, because prayer was the only thing that was guiding me as well. I was meditating, and I'll share with you my meditation experience. It's called the 3 Scenes Healing Meditation that I learned from the late Jose Silva. And this was the Silva Ultramind technique that I learned. Some of you guys might know about this, but the meditation is very simple. I close my eyes and I imagine the first scene as I'm really in a bad way. I can't do anything about this at all. It's so difficult for me to come out from this hospital. And in that scene, I have a screen in front of me and I'm visualizing this. In the second scene, I move the screen 15 degrees to the left and I start programming myself to be doing something to help myself out of the situation. And that something is me sitting upright. That something is me doing breathing exercises, using a straw and blowing bubbles into a glass because I needed to get my breathing back in order. And the third and final scene, I move my mental screen 15 degrees more to the left, and I imagine myself recovered from this, playing with my grandchildren. I don't have grandchildren, by the way, but I'm visualizing myself playing outside in my yard with my grandchildren, enjoying life and celebrating the fact that I could come out. Now, this meditation technique is so powerful that it allowed me to come out from the situation. At one stage, I imagined that this COVID was eating through my skin or my body. And that's exactly what it was doing. When I did that, I realized, wow, I need to up my meditation. What can I do to up my meditation technique? So I imagined soldiers going in through my mouth, going all the way down to my body and fighting against this COVID. The more I visualized this and the more I programmed my body to self-heal, the soldiers were doing the fighting for me. And I realized I was starting to recover. I was getting better and better. And I said, wow, this is really working. So I continued to do it for the next however many days, up until the point where they moved me out from the ICU into the ward. And when I got to the ward, I visualized myself walking out from this hospital 2 days later. And unfortunately, because of hospital protocol, they could not allow me to walk to the door. They had to put me into a wheelchair and take me to the door. But once I was at the door, I was able to walk, jump into the car that was waiting for me, and come back home. The other thing I practiced was gratitude. Gratitude, my friends, is such an important exercise. People think that we need to start owning a nice house, a nice car, fancy clothes, etc., to be grateful. No, it doesn't work like that. Be grateful for what you have, and you'll be the happiest person around. So my gratitude technique is a gratitude rock that I keep with me. I hold this to my heart space every single day. In the morning when I wake up, and I'm grateful for a minimum of 5 things. At night, before I go to bed, I repeat the process. So tonight, one of the gratitude statements I will make is, I'm so thankful and grateful for being invited to the Yucca Spiritual Center to speak to you guys today as well. So the more things I put into my subconscious mind as gratitude, the more happier I become as a person, the more my energy levels pick up, the more I'm on the same frequency with the universe, and the more I can operate better as a person. So these are some of the mind acts and techniques that I've been using. I was using positive self-talk, affirmations. I was actually saying that I am enough. I am so powerful. I am recovered. I'm fully recovered. I'm back to cycling. I'm back to running. So all of these things that I was programming into my mind was working for me. I was doing various breathing techniques. There's a technique called a 4-7-8 technique, where you breathe and you hold it for 7 seconds and you breathe out for 8. Such a powerful technique. If you try that for about 5 times repeating, it's such a powerful one. I was creating intention statements for myself. So one of the intention statements was that today I'm going to feel much better than I felt yesterday. And every single day I created another intention statement. So I was putting this out there to everyone and the universe that I am going to get better all the time. I was talking to my higher purpose, my spirit guides, this connection. So you guys would know, right? This is our third eye. So one of the gods that I pray to is called Lord Shiva. He is very fond of having the third eye. You'll see it's the blue third eye. So I imagine myself connecting to him and getting all of that energy from him to come into my body from my crown chakra all the way down and healing me right down to my root chakra. So these things are such powerful techniques that actually work. Visualization is so powerful. You don't have to use it for a sickness. If you are going after a job or a project or anything that you're working on, just visualize the outcome. Create this mental image of what you want to see and what you believe to be your truth at the end of the day. So, like I said, when I almost gave up on day 6, I was going through a human experience. I am human. We all are human. We go through emotions, and we need to realize that as humans, it's okay not to be okay. Don't beat ourselves up for whatever we're going through. See it as just another learning journey through life. Don't see it as a failure or an obstacle. See it as an opportunity to learn. So when I got home, I had to spend 1 month at home with this oxygen, carrying this oxygen tank around with me. But guess what I did again? I said to myself, I am not going to use this oxygen tank every single day. So I started training my body to stay without the oxygen for half an hour, then 1 hour, then 4 hours, then 8 hours. Eventually, after about 2 weeks, I was off the oxygen completely. I phoned the company. I said, please come and take the oxygen and give it to somebody else who may need it. I was walking outside into my yard, looking at the trees, smelling the leaves. That natural oxygen is the best antidote ever. Just enjoying the outdoors and having to breathe that information. So the reason why I was relating my story to you is basically through this pain that I went through, I was able to create a success story out of this. Now, I've never been an author. I had intentions of writing a book, but I never got down to doing it up until I went through this COVID experience and I became a first-time author. And this is the book that I created. It's called My COVID Journey. It's mind acts and techniques that got me through it. Now, this book was created not only for myself. It was created for those who've lost their loved ones. Because when they read this book and understand what a COVID patient had gone through, it'll allow them to reach some peace and some closure in their life, and they can move on. Because really, we need to move on from losing loved ones, right? It's how life is. We don't have control over it, but we can move on, deal with our emotions, etc. The second thing is sharing mind acts and techniques with as many people as possible so that whatever obstacle they face in life, they can use these techniques and come through it. The techniques like meditations, gratitude, you know, all affirmations, it's all the basic tools and techniques that we have out there as well. So my question to all of you today is, and it's something for you to think about, do you as a person want to go through pain in life, or do you want to grow through pain? So it's a Kensho moment, right? The pain that we go through, use it as a learning experience. Don't think the world is against you and that's why you're going through pain in your life. That's why you're going through so many obstacles in life. It's not so at all. Use it as an opportunity to grow through it. My life could have ended last year, January, but I chose to grow through this pain, learn through it, and become a better person. So therefore, I strive every single day to be the best version of myself. So in saying that, I'd like to just read you another one of my quotes. And it basically says, you must find that place inside yourself where nothing is impossible. So I repeat, you must find that place inside yourself where nothing is impossible. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate you taking the time to come to the center today to listen to me speak. I do appreciate it. And I'd like to wish you all the best on your journey through life. And remember, don't just go through the pain, grow through it. It really works. Thank you.